Good day traders, this is Stefanos on behalf of Tixee, and in today's webinar we'll be giving an outlook of the market for the week of the 30th of May until the 3rd of June. Looking at some of the highlights for next week, we'll be looking at Citigroup and United Health, which were both downgraded on Friday, as well as the fact that we have the key NFP report being released on Friday next week. As always, please note all of the ideas discussed in this webinar are my own opinions and do not make up for any form of investment, trading advice, neither any recommendations to buy or sell. You should always do your own research and due diligence before buying or selling any securities, financial products, or instruments, and whether you use any kind of trading strategy. Any information that relates to past performance is not indicative of future results. So kicking things off with stocks, as we mentioned, we had two downgrades take place on Friday, which could potentially impact the name stocks with the open on Monday. Now, one of the two stocks was Citigroup, which Citigroup was actually downgraded by another major lender, which was Credit Suisse. And it was downgraded from an outperform to a neutral rating and a price target of $58. Of course, currently we can see that it's sitting at 53, so it does have somewhat of a wiggle room to move up to these levels here, but it still stays, this is the point still stays, which is the fact that it has been downgraded with the price target of staying at $58 without any further upside. Of course, if we look at the chart here, something that you could look further into is the fact that if we actually reach $58 with Citigroup, this could potentially start forming into an inverse head and shoulders pattern, which obviously is something that we'll be covering later educational sessions as well if you would like to stay tuned. So it's basically a reversal pattern. We can see this established downtrend over the course basically since let's see here, since May 2021. So it's been going pretty much for over a year. So this could potentially trigger a reversal and a move back towards the highs with the first key structure levels. Obviously, they're going to be right here, which is where the neckline of the inverse head and shoulder is going to be forming. And if it does break above it, we could see it moving as the first kind of level, which is all the way up here to $67. So I do keep an eye on that if we actually indeed reach the price target of $58. And meanwhile, on the flip side, we also had United Health, which was also downgraded by Bernstein on this occasion from outperform to market perform, and a price target of 561. And just like with Citigroup, even though it was downgraded, the current price target does remain above the actual current market price. But of course, it's going to be towards the highs right here, which could potentially mean that prices are going to face some sort of resistance. Now, moving on to Forex, we'll be looking at the economic calendar, which again you can find from the homepage. You can just click on the logo in the top left corner, navigate to education and research, and click on the economic calendar. You can use all of the filters here to readjust the data according to your liking. So we're going to set this to next week, medium and high impact events. And again, always keep note of the time here, because it's obviously going to affect the timings that you see on the actual economic calendar. And you obviously want to be looking at the correct timings if you're looking to trade at a particular event. Now, on Monday, we're going to be having the economic sentiment figure coming out of the EU at 10 a.m., which is then going to be followed by the inflation rate, which is also the high impact event of the day from Germany, again at midday. Don't forget to also use this little tooltip, which again measures the volatility which is expected to occur in the hours following the release of the event. You can see the little explanation of what this means right here as well. Then moving on to Tuesday, we're going to be having unemployment data coming out of Japan in the early morning hours, which is, if it's something that you want to trade, you're more than welcome to do so. Of course, it's going to be 12:30 in UK time, so it might not be the usual like 2-3 a.m. that you'd expect from the Asian related events, Asia Pacific related events. But yeah, if it's something you're looking to trade, then we'll have the unemployment figures from Japan. Now, during the regular EU hours, we'll be having, let's see here, we're going to be having the GDP and trade balance figures coming out of Turkey. We're also going to be having trade balance figures from Switzerland as well as the retail sales. Now we'll have unemployment data coming out from Germany, then GDP data from Italy, mortgage approvals from the UK, and then inflation data coming out both from Italy as well as the Eurozone as well. So it's going to be an action-packed day from what it seems on Tuesday, with a lot of inflation and GDP data. So definitely be on the lookout if some of the Forex currency pairs you're trading are involved as well. So let's see, we're still looking it's still looking onto Tuesday. So looking into the afternoon hours, we're also going to have GDP data coming out of Canada, which is again one of the high impact events of the day as well. Then moving on to Wednesday, we'll have GDP data coming out from Australia, which is, like we said, this is the type of event you'd expect in the morning hours from the Asia Pacific region, which, as you can see, it's 2:30 on this occasion, AM. Again, it's going to be UK time. Then we're going to be having retail sales figure coming out of Germany in the morning regular hours of the EU, so at 7 AM UK time. And then towards the end or afternoon, we're going to be having the interest rate decision from the Bank of Canada, and the first hint with regards to the job reports from the US. Moving on to Thursday, we're going to be having the private payroll figures coming out of the US, which is going to be at midday, and of course it sets the precedent for the actual and all-important event of the week, which is going to be the NFP report, which is going to be released on the first Friday of each month. Again, it's also going to be followed by the unemployment rate at about pretty much the same time. So definitely keep an eye around those times if you're going to be trading some of the major currency pairs. And also at 3 o'clock in the afternoon UK time, we'll have some non-manufacturing data from the US. So it's a rather action-packed week with lots of inflation, GDP, as well as employment data. So again, if currency pairs is the niche of markets that you're trading, then definitely keep an eye on those types of events. And since we're on the topic of the economic calendar, this week, the oil inventory report is going to be taking place on Thursday, which is, as you can see, it's right here. Reason being because obviously on Monday, something worth mentioning, on Monday it's going to be a public holiday in the US. So if I switch this on the low, we can see here that Monday it's going to be Memorial Day in the US, which obviously means that markets are going to be closed, and which is why the oil inventory report is pushed forward by 1 day. So it's going to be released on Thursday if commodities is something that you're looking to trade. So we definitely keep an eye on both oil and gold, again, if you're trading commodities during the high impact events, because we do have a flurry of US data reports coming out throughout the week. Of course, again, the important one being the NFP report. So if you're trading oil and gold during those times, definitely be wary of the NFP reports. Obviously, if you don't have the time to keep an eye at the markets at all times, if you don't want to be actively placing the trades yourself, a new feature that has been released on tixee's platform is the social trading feature. So definitely this is something useful. Again, if you don't want to be actively placing the trades yourself, then there's a number of accounts that you can actually copy. You can have a look at the kind of risk appetite that the account is employing. If it matches the kind of risk appetite that you would like to see in your trading, then you can start copying other traders. You can have a list of the trending traders right here, the ones that have been most copied and the kind of strategies that have been most copied. Obviously, if you want to review more details as well, so you can click on the more button here, and you can get a more in-depth breakdown with regards to the key metrics from this specific account with regards to the total profit. The general statistics is a very useful tab as well, because it gives you an even further insight into the metrics of this particular strategy or account. So yeah, definitely check that out, and if it's something that you do like, then obviously you're more than welcome to use it, since it's been recently added onto the platform as well. where you can find it. So if you navigate on the left hand side here of the platform itself, you can see all of the tabs right here. The one you're looking for is social trading, which is again the newly released feature. And then lastly, we're going to be covering cryptos as well as the final asset class. So we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. And we can see pretty much here on the chart, I'll just remove the moving averages first to clear up the chart a little bit. So we can see essentially that this is the key structural level that we have been going over and discussing over the several past weeks. Now we can see that it is holding. I mean, it's trading around, I would say, around this key structure level. It's not really holding because we can see it has breached this level and it's actually trading below it, but it's still around this key area. If I zoom in a little bit, it's still around this key area right here. Now, if we do end up closing the week and trading and holding below this level, and we open up trading even lower on Monday, and if the actual asset itself continues trading lower, then the next possible key structure level is going to be all the way down here. It's going to be around the 20,000 mark. So if I just adjust this one to 20,000, you can pretty much see that it's around these levels. It's also a round number which can act as a psychological key number. We do have some wicks right here, but again, it's pretty much all falling into the area that we're still aiming, which is 20,000. You could set up a range if you wanted to, which is going to be between $20,000 to $22,000. It also coincides with a measured move. So if we measured from the all-time high up here and the beginning of this consolidation phase, which was this little channel that we also covered in the past couple of webinars. So you can see that this move right here, it was a total of $36,000 drop, more or less. Or if we want to put it actually better in percentage perspective, it was 52% more or less. And if we measure from the beginning of the next move, then the 52% pretty much more or less coincides with the 20 and 22,000 range that we mentioned earlier on. So yeah, definitely an interesting couple of weeks to follow with regards to cryptos in general and Bitcoin more specifically, as we could be trading back down to levels that we have not seen basically since 2020, so 2 years ago pretty much. And yeah, there you have it. This is as far as the outlook for next week's markets. I hope you enjoyed the video and you found it useful, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Until then, trade safe.